Can piracy and counterfeit goods crime syndicates be defeated? Do the police and the DTI have the capacity to curb piracy? Who is supplying South African markets with pirated and counterfeited goods? And what does Mzwakhe Mbuli get out of the fight against piracy? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mzwakhe Mbuli. It's the festive season and many South Africans will be spending millions of rand on various items, amongst them for entertainment, and those will be DVDs, CDs, and clothes. Those will be ranking high on the list of many. However, with the high rate of festive expenditures comes the availability of pirated goods at the same rate. What will it take to run pirated goods out of circulation in South Africa? My guest is Mzwakhe Mbuli, who is a musician and an artist activist. Before we go into the show, though, let's have a quick look at this insert.
The piracy of South African CDs and DVDs costs the entertainment industry over 50 billion rands a year. It involves the copying, sales, and distribution of an artist's work without the artist's expressed consent. The Copyright Act of 1978 states in terms of Section 2 that sound recording and musical works are eligible for copyright. In other words, the Act is meant to protect these categories of works from being pirated. Artists such as Mzwakhe Mbuli are in the forefront of clamping down on this illicit behavior and hope to bring an end to it in the near future.
That was an insert prepared for us by one of our producers, Nandi Glass. Mzwakhe Mbuli, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You seem to be the face of Operation Dudula. But I asked the question, are you the only person there? Is it a one-man show? I'm not seeing other artists.
They are there. They are there. I'm sure you will even see from your insert that when we launched, a number of prominent faces were there.
Yeah.
I mean, from 2005, I mean, it's a long struggle. We have changed faces at some stage. I would even to say to you, I recall an incident at Bruma Lake when Vuyo Mukwena was still alive.
Yes.
And that, I'm mentioning it because it is an incident where somebody pulled out a revolver, you know, and fortunately, because we're in the presence of the late Colonel Malupe, you know, and it helped us that the police were part of us. So when this guy pulled out a firearm out of sheer anger and frustration that our guys were there and destroying the counterfeit goods. Yeah, but the artists are there. I mean, in Durban, Yumfiliseni Magubane and Pusa Kemis are there. In Limpopo, we have Thomas Chawuke. You will see, I mean, I'm mentioning these names of people who are part of us, who took it to the streets. Lusanda Mkinga is one of them in the Eastern Cape, although at some stage she was beaten up. But I mean, we are there, they are there, these guys, except that I'm sure it's never enough when you don't have a sufficient backup.
Yes. Yeah. Now, do you think piracy and counterfeited goods crime can ever be defeated here in South Africa?
It has to be. We must soldier on. The fight must be aggressive. We must take up the fight. We must take the fight straight to these guys, like, you know, with the same enthusiasm as we did against apartheid system.
Yes.
So people should never surrender. People should never give up. I think we need resilience. And it's defeatable, provided you don't have, you know, counter-insurgents, you don't have sabotage, you don't have those who would collude with the criminals. Yeah, I mean, it's not a banana republic. People could succeed if there is no willingness from all law enforcement agencies to crush piracy.
SABC, South African Police Service, and the DTI, do they have the capacity to do this?
It's 20 years after democracy. 20 years. People talk of a white paper. 20 years. Now other people can point against things that they've achieved. When it comes to this question, there is no paper or white paper. When you go to commercial crime unit, they are under-resourced. At the same time, people, when they get, the maximum sentence is 3 to 5 years. I mean, I mentioned the biggest pass in South Africa, the Cyril Dean, Mr. Cheng. I mean, forfeiture unit took his house, but he was fined 80,000. Others spent maybe 3 years in prison. And it's ironic that your mother and mine could be arrested for selling pap and steak, the bylaws. But the guys are in every corner in this country, and they don't get arrested. Now, it's dual, because they do it, it's drugs and music. These days, it's music and pornography. Now, it's a combo. It's Sibaya and Mandela movie. So, if these guys are prepared, and if these people and everybody out there honors Madiba, then you should take it upon yourself and make citizens arrest and say you cannot sell Mandela's movie Long Walk to Freedom like as though you are saying to hell with the 27 years he spent in prison. So people are spitting on the graves of Brenda Fassie, like Itube, Jabu Kanyele and all of them. So something needs to be done. I mean, if police have got task teams, etc., vehicle squad, this and that, why when it comes to this? Although we keep on losing crime fighters. We lost in Gauteng, General Petros, he had to be moved maybe elsewhere, or he left Gauteng, for example. When we were discussing with Bheki Cele, former General Bheki Cele, that very same week, when he wanted to crash, he came up with the strategy, he got removed. Now, our main hope, and a guy that we'll always admire was General Tirani Maswanganyi.
Yes.
He got murdered last year.
But what are
now,
you saying?
This is the general who was fighting cigarette syndicates, at the same time fighting piracy. This is the General Tirani Maswanganyi, wherever he has been, go check Soweto, Midlands police station. When people were saying police were corrupt, he came and he cleaned the police force. He actually renewed the confidence of the people in the area of Soweto, Rockville, Moroka. Now, we lost General Tirani Maswanganyi. Now, I'm saying to you as we sit, we need people who are prepared to fight the scourge of piracy. Obviously, we have hope that either it's General Gela and others will continue where General Tirani Maswanganyi left off. We've got other generals. But in terms of commitment, it's very sad. There are police stations when you can load either 2-3 vans of this stuff. The next morning, the vans are empty. So it's ironic that we're working with the police. There are those who are dedicated in the majority, but there is a minority that will always undermine. And every radio show today, when people call in, they start blaming the police. Yet, I mean, there are gains and strides that I'm seeing with the Colonel Gubek and Commercial Crime Unit, and there are surprise raids as I speak to you. There are people who are actually sentenced on a weekly basis at the Commercial Crime Unit. But look, we've got a number of units that are there, prepared, dedicated to crash piracy. But we need commitment from the state, because as I sit, it's like the government is quiet, the parliament is quiet.
The DTI, are they able or are they not able?
Well, in all our operations, we don't have DTI with us. I must say it openly. The only time I was called at the DTI, it was in 2009, because we started in 2005. People were folding arms. I know the mandate of DTI is to crush anything that is counterfeit, but we're in a situation where I was called by the former deputy minister to explain our gains and saying humbly so that you guys have outperformed us, okay? And we congratulate you guys for what you have done within a short space of time. But, I mean, they were going to launch at Birchwood in 2009. And it's a question would be what happened before and after 2009 when they launched. I
want you to hold that thought. We'll talk about that Birchwood launch. For now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll return shortly. Please don't go away.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration. Our new water
waterproof smartphone takes superior photos even in low light. Has PlayStation 4 remote play and up to 2 days battery life. Don't settle for good, demand great. The new Sony Xperia Z3 series.
Get the used Sony Xperia Z3 on a My MTN Choice 100 contract for only $4.99 and get a free 12-month music streaming subscription.
Our new waterproof smartphone takes superior photos even in low light. Has PlayStation 4 remote play and up to 2 days battery life. Don't settle for good, demand great. The new Sony Xperia Z3 series.
Zoom into Africa. This is the Kingdom of Lesotho. The leader is King Letsie III. The Kingdom of Lesotho attained full independence on 4th October in 1966. The population is more than 2 million people. One of the major languages spoken is English. Monetary unit is Maluti.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
Welcome back. My guest today is Mzwakhe Mbuli. He's a musician, an artist, activist as well. Now, you were still saying that the Beachwood launch by the DTI, and it seemed to have been accompanied by some sizable budget.
Yeah, when I was at DTI in 2009, it was a conference call, and the deputy minister explained to me that applauded that we have working very hard. We risked our lives. We've been length and breadth of this country, yes. And we welcome the fact that the deputy minister said they were now going to join the fray or assist us with the resources. And there was an announcement, obvious, of 11 million, that from now on, you know, the fight was going to be easy, because I must tell you, everything was from one's coffers and pockets. And then I was asked to explain our missions from Durban Station, Period Station. You remember the days of It's a movie?
Yes.
Yesterday, you know, the trail, the musicians that were injured at Durban Station by the hawkers. One lady had a skull fracture from, it's a Maskandi lady from Mzwakhe Mbuli. I explained, you know, the journey, thinking it was important so that when they take over, you know, that sometimes the relay race is lost in the exchange of a baton. And I thought I needed to be accurate about the reports. So I did exactly that, detailed information about our raids at 3, 4 times the rates at Montana Traders, because most of the hawkers, people are saying, forget about the guys in this, but they must give you the kingpins, the hawkers, where they get the stock. So we raided with the police undercover agents and stuff. So the CI, crime intelligence, were part of these operations. We did that. But I explained that to DTI. A few months later, there was a launch at Beachwood.
Yes.
And so thereafter, there were adverts on television and radio, and some kumbis of fellow artists were branded anti-piracy, don't do piracy crap. But that was that, yeah. So now, I'm sure only in 2014, I believe, because there's now a new federation of like our own COSAT of the arts, then DTI is there to make sure that we'll push and help, assist and stuff.
You were saying that Parliament is quiet.
Yeah, the Parliament is quiet.
How
Now,
so?
I see drama in Parliament, but the Parliament is quiet. Piracy, it's about, if you are proudly South African, you cannot never have the parties in Parliament and expect them to be quiet and silent. Unless what is it? That's supposed to be a polar. Why are they quiet? Why are the parties in Parliament quiet?
What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to say?
I mean, if you are proudly South African, I mean, if the people knew, we started in 2005, but long before there was RISA. RISA is still there, and they're still doing a good job, except that Sometimes some methodologies, it's like a hotline, etc. But these guys are there in the full-timers, same as Suffolk. They are full-time members fighting parties, especially in the films and children's game. So these guys are doing amazing work. I mean, from James Lennox now, Yusuf Abraham, they're doing absolutely a wonderful work. But can we have a parliament in this country that respects Madeba? And when there are busts and these raids where you find that there's a Mandela movie being paraded, not a single statement from these political parties. They are quiet. I'm not afraid to say that. They are quiet. And they need to be told. It's 20 years now. They are quiet. Artists have been fighting. You know, most of these parties, when they canvass, mobilize for elections and stuff, they use musicians. Now, when these fellow musicians whose music is paraded, when Lusanda was beaten up, she almost lost an eardrum. The parties were quiet if they're fellow South Africans. They are the leaders. This is not a national party government. So they were quiet. When Mfulisen Guban police chemists were arrested in Durban, even Eric of Mzingane's home, that guy died while he was under bail. They were 18 of them arrested. These guys are never there. They are never there. So I'm saying, sometimes a nation is judged by how it treats its artists.
Okay.
These guys have no ethics. They parade. If Makeba was a big name, her music is being paraded while she's in the grave. Well, what is this? Why are South Africans quiet? So I think now if you have a government section that's supposed to be fighting piracy, of all the episodes that I can mention, there was never DTI. People have been in and out of prison, never DTI. When he invaded Chen, never DTI. So there were mishaps and things that are happening within the music industry. These guys are never there. So it's good if somebody has passed on, there's too much publicity in media, then people dress smart, they don't want to appear and be seen. When things are tough, they are never there.
There was an incident with Zahara and the late old man in KZN.
Vusi Ximba.
Yeah,
but I'm the one who fought for Zahara. You must know that. Until even TK Ngqiza had to be under guard. I'm saying again, the country was there. The parliament was there. The leaders were there. Those guys had the audacity, the temerity to go to TK's place and show him, left a letter saying to him, we know that you stay here, you live here, right? Because he was fighting for Zahara. Half of what Zahara sold was actually spent and eaten up by these human parasites, and nothing happened. So I put my head on the block for Zahara. So that's number one. Number two, Vusi Ximba, before even Operation Tudula, he went publicly saying, for the first time in South Africa, people saw a cassette in a purple color. He said it won't be easy for these guys to brand, and go to machines, whatever machines they have, to make a purple colored cassette, saying even track one, if you see this color, if anybody gives you or you see a display of my cassettes, as long as if they are not purple in color, you must know it's not Vusi Ximba's music. I mean, he was the sole man, a lone man, fighting piracy. That is why even Operation Tudula, I went to KZN, people were showing me their statements, their royalty statements, that 0000000. So it means their music was all over, but they were not getting...
Who are the biggest losers? Is it us, the consumers? Or
The country, because Hollywood artists there, they contribute so much in the economy of America, for example. Yeah. Now, in this country, I mean, South Africa is losing. Let me openly say it to you. We grew up people talking about Carlo, Sony, all these big companies, EMI. They are gone. The catalog is gone. I mean, shortly even before Comrade Vavi was suspended, we met with Vavi, showing him that the industry was going down. But 10 years ago, there was a caution. But this industry is going down. Talk of EMI, talk of Gallo, the catalog, Bula, Cool Sports. The 99% of artists in the gospel sector in this country recorded under Cool Sport. Ken Haycock, he went back to England. Now, the industry is bad, and people are not aware of this. Comrade Natim Teto in 2012 made a statement, the Minister of Police, that this is Western murder, this is economic crime. So these are big speeches, statements. But I'm saying to you, South Africa is going to the dogs.
Hold the thought there. We are not going to the dogs. We're going for a quick commercial break. This is Question Time.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
I would say there's no supplements or minerals, something that you can take will completely prevent cancer.
Although vitamins help the body produce and use energy, they do not provide energy themselves because they don't contain calories. Supplements also cannot be used to replace foods or make up for poor dietary habits.
Cases in Liberia are currently doubling every 15 to 20 days, and those in Sierra Leone and Guinea are doubling every 30 to 40 days.
Hi, I'm Dr. Silo Matau. Watch Health Talk every Saturday on SABC News.
Arrested in connection with the murder of Senzo Meyiwa is planning to take legal action against the police minister.
Mbata appeared in the Boksburg Magistrates Court after being in police custody for 10 days.
He says police have ruined his life.
I'm afraid for my life.
His family have conflicting emotions and saddened that he was arrested in the first place.
And now their case seems to be in tatters, perhaps underlining the severe pressure they were under to produce a suspect. But what now for the police?
Primetime News, daily at 6 p.m. on SABC News.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
Mzwakhe Mbuli is my guest today, and you're still watching Question Time. Now, who is supplying these counterfeited goods?
I said to you the other day, when I was in Durban in 2005, they explained that as long as this intelligence work, as long as you're next to the harbor, there's the sea there.
Yeah.
Cape Town, same thing. And with Tsotsi movie or yesterday, even Mandela movie, these things are done. Either people have got a specimen, and then they will ship out, do these things outside, they will bring them back in the country. Like your gold, raw, when it is refined, it comes back.
Where's the vessel coming from?
Yeah, so these guys are all over. Pakistan, India, you know, certain parts of the continent, they're all over. And if this was terrorism, we'll be saying this is Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda in the music industry. Now, I mean the films, okay, the children's game, it's big. Stekeno Konyumet will tell you. The country is in trouble. Now, we have sleeping giants. Sometimes people make beautiful speeches and they are not aware that underneath something is actually moving away. It's like if I were to say there are people who are politically relevant now, maybe vice versa, heavenly useful, politically irrelevant. Okay? So you need people who would be hands-on. You need people who would say, we'll fight the scourge of this. Look at the campaigns against HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, now maybe it's Ebola. Now, what's wrong with us here? That would you remove people who are, you know, cooking food, right? And those, because these days it's packaged. These guys have become sophisticated. They've packaged it. So when you see a Kung Fu CD, it's pornography. The other day we saw a lot of stuff, it was Ringo this time. Yet, it was not Ringo in a plate. It was, again, nudity, pornography. So they've gone to a point of using your face, but within the product, it's something else. Now it's being disrespectful. These guys are saying we don't care about your police. We're not afraid of you. These guys are saying to hell with your constitution. These guys are saying we're not afraid of your flag, your anthem, your leadership. These guys, they don't care. They are here to do their stuff. They do pirates with impunity. Unless something happens to them, they need to be crushed. As I speak to you, the Maskandi artists, musicians are saying because you speak too much big English, they need to use the ASE guys and deal with these guys. And somebody else will say it's like taking the law into their own hands, or it's jungle justice. But they say maybe the government will listen if they use their spears against these thugs.
Okay, let's leave piracy a little bit. I know that you had an opinion on the Generations matter when 16 artists were axed.
Yeah. In a democratic South Africa, 20 years of democracy, we're supposed to be celebrating the victories, the gains, not the losses, not unemployment, not people being expelled. One, you talk of the doors of learning, culture open, the Freedom Charter, these doors, even then, they're not flung wide open. The opposite is what? Injustice. 1, 2. I'm part of the family of the arts practitioners. And there is what we call the means of production, even under apartheid. Those with the means of production are the ones that have the powers to fire you.
Yes.
Now, I cannot fold my arms. That is why we say an injury to one is an injury to all. Even if one doesn't have the merit of the case, but one death is death too many. When you fire 16 people, that's too many, that's too much. Unless we are told exactly what is it. Now, I happened to met the lawyers, Mzwakhe, they called me. Then explained. Mama Winnie, they've explained. I was at Luthuli. I must tell you, I met the artists themselves. They explained to me. I'm not saying why me, because I'm regarded as those who champion the rights of the artists.
Did you meet Mfundi?
No, I have not met Mfundi.
Why?
The people I've mentioned, all of them are the ones that called me.
Okay.
Then I did not lobby, I did not call them, I was not inquisitive or chacharach. But but I met Comrade Vavi the other day saying he got a message that Mfundi said he must not even attempt to call him.
Yes.
Now, you don't do that in a democracy. When there's a problem, either become a part of the solution or aggravate matters. Now, but the other day, I couldn't believe somebody says, I've made Queen Morocco. Queen was here when somebody was in exile. You come back to South Africa and say, you've made Queen Morocco. Who are you? I think I'm saying to you, I will always be on the side of the artists in this country. We championed their cause. We fought for a better South Africa. And I don't think somebody must rejoice. I will never rejoice. There was a NUMSA strike. There were a number of strikes in this country. We will always fight and pray that there should be a resolution of these things. We can never, because you cannot account a person as an individual. There are many stomachs that you feed. So if you fire somebody, don't rejoice.
Mzwakhe Mbuli, all the best. And I think it is indeed a just cause that counterfeit goods should not be bought, because that way we are promoting crime. That was Question Time for today. A big thank you to my guest and to you for watching the show. Get in touch with us. Our email address, questiontime@sabc.co.za. Our Twitter handle @questiontime24. You can also follow me on Twitter @Mpho Tsedu. That's it from us. Have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.